So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Insights with Avas. So today's topic is developing communication with AAC. So let me give a warm welcome to Prerana Shah, who will be presenting the webinar on the topic. A little introduction about Prerana. She is a versatile and passionate speech language and swallowing feeding therapist with more than 10 years of experience in various clinical settings. A certified personal counselor, she is a consultant audiologist and speech therapist at Bhaktivedanta Hospital and HCG Cancer Center, Mumbai. Founder of Inspire Speech and Hearing Solutions. Her interests include autism, ADHD, voice disorders, feeding and swallowing disorders. We're lovely to have you here, Prerna. Over to you now.
Thank you. Okay, hello everyone. Thank you Team Avas for giving me this opportunity to share my knowledge and expertise with so many other people. I hope everyone is doing well in this COVID situation. All are safe and sound. Okay, so shall I start with the presentation or you want me to wait for like say for some time? It's 3 p.m. exactly.
You can slowly start with the presentation, Prerna. So I think as you go through the slides, more people will join in.
Join. Okay. Okay, I'll share my screen. Okay. 1 second. Yeah, today's topic of my presentation is developing communication with AAC. Myself, Prerna Shah. I'm audiologist and speech therapist. Okay, here we can see a brief picture about what AAC is. It is used as a assistive technology for communication. Okay, and let's see what are we going to cover today. We will see some basics about AAC, some facts regarding AAC. Then our major topic is how to develop communication, and then some question and answers. Okay, coming to what is AAC. Augmentative AAC is short form of augmentative and alternative communication. It encompasses the communication methods used to supplement or replace speech or writing for those with impairments in the production or comprehension of spoken or written language. That means whenever there is a communication breakdown for various reasons in say children or adults, we can definitely use a AAC to supplement or replace speech. It is not to AAC is not used to as a substitute for speech. Okay, it is used to supplement speech. Okay, augment or alternate. Okay, whenever we don't have the option that speech is not developing after some efforts, then we can go for AC. Okay, there are various disorders by which AAC is used. Children with cerebral palsy, intellectual impairment, autism, acquired conditions like ALS, Parkinson's disease, stroke, head neck cancer, and acute care settings in the hospital where AAC is used vastly. What is goal of AAC? Why are we using AAC in the first place? We want everyone to have communication. Okay, we want each and every child, each and every person to communicate. We should understand their needs, we should understand their feelings, what they are wanting to convey to us. That should be very clear to us, and that's the reason goal of AAC is autonomous communication. It's not independent communication, it's autonomous communication. By autonomous communication, I mean that whatever they want to say, what they are feeling, that they are able to communicate. Many times they because of limited speech output or being non-verbal, they are not able to communicate that. That is the reason we come to AAC, and we want to achieve this autonomous communication with the help of AAC. Okay, there is a very nice quote by Gail Porter: being able to say what I want to say to whoever I want to say whenever I want to say. This doesn't give one particular this thing that they will be using only AC as the mode of communication. Okay, they can choose any form of communication. We'll now see types of AC. AC are mainly divided in two types: unaided AC and aided AC. By unaided AC means there is no other physical requirement, that I don't need any particular paper, pen, any device, or any printout, nothing. Okay, unaided AC is for that. Okay, aided ACs are briefly divided into low-tech and high-tech. Okay, we'll just see what unaided ACs are. We all use unaided AC in our day-to-day communication. Also, unaided ACs are used vastly. Facial expressions, our body language, sign system, sign language, vocalization, gestures, all are types of unaided AC. But our body language also helps us to communicate something. Our facial expression sends out a message about our emotional status. Sign system, many times with children with Down syndrome, even with autism, sign systems are used. Mercaton signs are very commonly used with children. Sign language, by sign language, there is a difference between sign system and sign language. Sign system is just a sign system. Okay, they have particular signs for words or verbs, I can say. And sign language is a language. When the term language is used, it does have grammar. So that sign language is mainly used by people with hearing impairment. Indian Sign Language, American Sign Language, all these languages, they are well developed language with a good grammar. Okay, and let's see now. Uh, Aided AC. Okay, aided ACs are divided in low tech and high tech. So low tech ACs are communication boards, picture exchange communication system, communication diary. There can be communication rings. Okay, so these are when it comes to low tech devices, it's basically paper based system. So PEX is also like picture exchange communication. I have a picture, I exchange it with the caregiver and I get my need fulfilled. That is PEX. Okay, all these are paper based systems. And when it comes to high tech systems, these are majorly speech generating devices which are based on either text to speech or picture to speech, and they do generate voice. That is the reason it is called speech generating devices. These devices can be standalone. This can be in the form of computer softwares or mobile applications. Okay, here are pictures of some of the ASAs which are used. Uh, This first one in the corner is a PEX booklet in which the small, probably 1 inch, 2 inch size picture cards are there, and those are pulled by the child, placed in the Velcro. We can make a sentence strip. The second one you can see is I think screenshot of Avaz, in which the symbols are there, and from the symbols, from the vocabulary, you can choose what you want to choose and then make a sentence. This is the picture of Stephen Hawkins, and he had been using a very advanced mode of AC, form of AC. You can see a visual pointer here. The way he was communicating was with this visual pointer. He didn't have a good manual dexterity, so he can navigate his screen with his hand. That is the reason the way he was communicating was with this pointer, and believe me, his system was very high tech. Here also there is this AC is in the form of eye gaze. So this person is the caregiver or the therapist is holding this board. There are certain symbols and letters written. So this person looks at particular letter, and then therapist interprets decodes the message given by the person. This is the JLO app, JLO Communicator app, that is also available freely on Android and Apple. This also has customizations available. So yeah, this is one of the form of the AC. Now let's see. Look at this. These are the Mercaton signs. Now let's see, why do we need AC in the first place? Okay. So what we sometimes see as a failure to behave properly is actually a failure to communicate properly. Many times parents will have complaints that my child has this behavioral issues, he doesn't sit at a place, he doesn't like to do this work, or he will just throw tantrums. Every behavior has some communicative importance. They are trying to communicate with us something which we are not able to decode. We are not understanding their communication, or probably they are not able to communicate with us effectively. That is the reason we see that as a behavior problem, because there is a frustration developing also when I cannot communicate what my I'm feeling something, I'm feeling like I'm having pain, and I'm not able to tell you, though I'm telling you, you are not understanding. Then finally that leads to frustration, and this frustration will lead to some form of behavior problem. So that is very beautifully put, that what we sometimes see as a failure to behave properly is actually a failure to communicate properly. And this is a very important point, that not being able to speak is not the same as not having anything to say. When I'm unable to speak, that doesn't mean I'm unable to think. I don't have anything to say. Yes, I can also think. If I can, I have also my mind. I want to put forth my point in front of me, you. So that is the reason we need to provide them some way to communicate. Communication is basic human right, and we cannot take away this right from anyone. And there is no prerequisite that justifies delaying access to AAC. If I have to give everyone communication, when the child cannot speak, when the person cannot communicate, AAC can be the solution. And there is no prerequisite, okay, the person should be able to understand in pictures, or he should be able to say at least few words, then we'll move on to AAC. Nothing like that. There is no prerequisite so that I can start using the AAC. There are many benefits associated with the AAC. When I start using AAC, the child can develop more stronger friendship and deeper relationships with the teacher, therapist, and caregivers. More frequent social interaction. They do get something with that they can interact. Otherwise, there is no way they can interact with other people. They can interact with society. So AAC comes as the one medium through which they are conveying their feelings and emotions and their needs to the society. Deeper social roles with family member, friends, professionals, increase autonomy and decision making power over their own life. So when suppose the kid is there and I'm asking, if he cannot communicate, I might not ask what do you want to eat. But when I ask him what do you want to eat, he can use his AAC system, and or even the low tech system, and he can tell me properly, oh, I want to eat idli, I don't want to eat pav bhaji. It increases the independence, more respect from others. Whenever people have something to say, it will definitely increase, they will definitely get more respect from people. Greater participation in their family lives and communities, improved information sharing with physicians. Yeah, this is very important point, that when I go to the doctor, I cannot express what I'm actually feeling, how where I am feeling unwell, where I'm having pain, then physician will not be able to understand what I'm going through, and proper medical treatment cannot happen. Improve personal safety in a variety of settings, such as hospital or long-term facilities, and this definitely increases the employment opportunities, because they can communicate. Okay. uh, Many people do feel that, is it effective? Can I really use AC and will it help? Will AC help my child? Okay, so here's one study which states that they have studied efficacy of electronic devices, if it helps children with autism to communicate in the classroom and not. And they found that they do prefer Avaz app on the iPad than any other app and any other mode of communication, rather than any other mode of communication. Okay, so So other two studies are there, AAC intervention for individuals with autism spectrum disorders. And this study also concluded that people with AAC stand to greatly benefit from AAC. So children with autism, they greatly benefit with alternate and augmentative form of communication, particularly with current AAC technologies. Okay, like mobile-based applications, they do develop a lot. Then there is one more systematic review of picture exchange communication system. They have compared it with other systems, and they found that when they have used picture exchange communication system with children, they found more initiating communication from the children, more responding, and more greetings they have observed. Like many times we feel always people ask us the question that yes, my child is communicating, but the communication is only need based. Whenever he needs something that is an extreme need, unless and until I coax him, he will not speak. If it is of his interest, if it interests him, if it is he wants something with a lot of like I need it, then only they are communicating. But with the use of AC, this horizons improve. Let's see some certain things about communication development. Some basics about all human beings have innate ability to communicate in one particular way or another. We all communicate something. Even a kid of 1 month is communicating. They have differential crying patterns. So we need to understand their communication. If a child is non-verbal, but they will be communicating. Though the child isn't saying anything, surely he is communicating in certain way. We need to decode his message. There, he might be communicating using his body language, his behavior. We need to understand it. If we are not able to understand it, behavior issues are going to come up and it will increase. We are communicating throughout the day. Communication is not a tabletop activity. Many parents feel that, oh, I don't get time to work on his communication, I don't get time to work on his speech. So please understand that communication or speech does not happen as a tabletop activity. You cannot sit across a table and teach communication. Communication is happening throughout the day. Whenever you are awake, you are communicating with your child something. Think of any day-to-day activity, say bathing or eating food. You get ample number of opportunities during that time to communicate. So you have to tap on those opportunities to work on the communication and speech, rather than make him sit in front of you. He should sit still, and then you will work on the communication. That is not going to happen. That is not going to work. The more you work in natural settings, natural contexts, you will be achieving more success. This I discussed earlier. Okay. Identify child's strengths and weaknesses. We can take help of strengths to correct or improve weak areas. So every child has some strengths and there are some weaknesses. Suppose a child is very good at identifying pictures. So we have to take help of that picture. So accordingly, probably this we can use to teach him speech. If speech might be his weakness, that he is not talking, so we can take help of his better visual perception skills to develop the one which is lacking, that is speech. Okay, so let's understand communication little bit more in detail. Why do we communicate? Communication has many functions. We do communicate for many reasons. It is not only that I want to convey my needs. That is the reason I am communicating. We communicate for vast number of reasons. Okay, so let's see what are the reasons why we communicate. So instrumental function that is used. It is used to ask for something. It's same as requesting. Okay, so example of this can be mama, I want water. Mama, I want ball. Okay, I want to go to garden. So I am requesting something, I am asking for something, so that becomes instrumental function. Second is regulatory function. It is used to give direction and direct others. Mama, no, don't do that. Mama, keep it there. Okay, or keep it in the bag. So the child is giving instruction. Like how we give instruction to children, they also can give instruction to us. They can also tell what they want us to do, how what they want us to do finally. Okay, mama, make paratha for breakfast. So that can be a regulatory function. Interactional function is used to interact and converse with others in a social manner. Personal function is used to express a state of mind or feeling about something. So suppose I am feeling angry about something, so I can say I didn't like that, I'm upset about that. So a child should be able to express his feelings also, express what is there in their mind, and not only requesting. So we have to
Very
target
much agree.
all these areas. Heuristic function is used to find out information and inquire. So with normal kids, even with some other kids also, we do always find that they are very inquisitive. They will keep on asking us some or other questions. Why is that? When are we going there? Mama, when will we go to garden? When are we going to probably movie? So that is the asking question is also one form of communication which they need to develop. Imaginative is used to tell stories and role play. It's a description also, narrative skills. So next one is informative, used to provide an organized description of an event or object. So probably I went to mall, and then I'm coming back home, then probably explaining grandparents what did I do in the mall. So it's event description, or describing the object. If I ask the child to describe the object, child can say, oh, this is an apple. Apple is red in color. Apple is a fruit. I eat apple. Cut apple with knife. Okay, so these are various functions of communication, and when we want to develop communication as whole, we should be targeting all these functions. Okay, and not only instrumental function, which means requesting or asking for something. Okay, this is very easy to develop, and probably children of any age, they develop this first. They will start using instrumental functions very easily. Like that is the first thing they develop when they are developing communication. But they get stuck on interactional function, interacting and conversing with others, heuristic function, and the personal function. They are not. It's not easy for them to express their feelings and state of the mind. Okay, so when to use AC? There are no prerequisites for using AC. Earlier, there had been candidacy model for AC. Like we will see if the person is candidate for AC or not, which is an outdated model right now. So we consider that there is no prerequisite for AC. Uh, Anyone with communication impairment, whenever there is communication breakdown, we can use AC to supplement speech. If there is a communication breakdown, we can use AC. This is a very important point for you all to remember. AC won't hamper speech development. In fact, it will help speech to develop. With AC, we are targeting communication. And when the child is confident communicating in some way or other, okay, definitely speech will follow through. Okay, 100, it's not 100% that it will definitely happen, but yes, there are more chances. Okay, with autism, the major hurdle is communication, not speech. It can be something else. Okay, so they have difficulty communicating. That is the major thing. So if we at least give them way to communicate somehow, then the speech will definitely follow through. It's easier for speech to develop. Now, how do we start using AC? Okay, we understood that, okay, probably we have to start using AC, but how do we start? So you can consult a speech therapist. Okay, then the next part comes selection of AC. There are various ACs available in the market. There are various low-tech devices available, low-tech ACs available. what do I do? Where do I start? Which AC will work best for my child? This selection we have to make. Okay, then we can do trial with that. Not necessary that first I think with this child Jello communicator will work, or with this particular kid PEX will work better. It cannot be 100% right. We may not be 100% correct at the first go. We have to do trial and see, okay, is this method working with the this child or not. Okay, then modifications required. Nothing is 100% right. Okay, every child is different, and therefore we need to modify that AC for that particular child in some way or other. Okay, so ACs are mostly customizable. So that if the child likes to play with the ball, we can have ball in front of in ball picture in the AC. But if child loves to watch TV, probably we can have the TV picture. So it depends. So we can definitely customize the AC as per the requirement of the child. Now let's see the selection of AC a little bit much more in detail. How we can come to the point that okay, this AC is better for my child. Okay, the most important thing is diagnosis of the child. Okay, this particularly helps too for the children with cerebral palsy. When there is a cerebral palsy, there are a lot of limitations physically. So I need to keep in mind the physical limitations, and then I have to choose the AAC. Who is going to be communication partner? Okay, when the child is communicating using AC, the communication partner has to decode that message. Communication partner has to understand it, and communication partner will play a very important role in making that child familiar with the AC, teaching the child how to use AC. So, if communication partner, who say caregiver or the teacher or a third person in the family, or any friend of the child, if they are not comfortable using the AC, understanding the AC, that communication which is going to happen through the AC is going to fail. It won't happen correctly. So we need to keep in mind who is going to be the communication partner while making the decision on which AAC to use. Of course, mode of communication. Right now, child is verbal or not verbal, non-verbal. How are they communicating their wants and needs and feelings right now? Also plays a very important role while making the decision of which AC will work best for that child. Receptive and expressive language skills. When I say receptive and expressive language skills, I mean if the child can understand more complex commands and understand categorization skills better, then definitely they can navigate their AC system also better. Okay, most of you must have been using Avaz. So if you're making different folders in Avaz, making different subfolders in Avaz, child has to navigate from one folder to another to make the complete sentence. So if their receptive and expressive skills are better, they will be able to do those things better. So that we have to relate it somehow or other. Now, gross and fine motor skills, visual perception skills. This is very important for children with cerebral palsy, and even with for autism who have motor planning deficits. So if my gross motor skills or fine motor skills are affected, if I'm touching my screen like this rather than this, okay, I may not be able to access my device as effectively as possible. And therefore children with cerebral palsy may be they might require some other features, some other devices to attach, like some switches or head pointers. We might need to use them so that they can access their AC. Most important and last but most important, we need to consider environmental and social economical aspect. Environmental means where the child is going to be using that AC. uh, is there enough space available? Okay, probably when I'm targeting using PECs in the normal school, does the teacher is the teacher aware of PECs? why the child is coming and giving me the picture. If teacher is not aware, the she might not fulfill what child goes and gives the picture of water bottle to the teacher will be like, what is he doing, I don't know. Okay, so we need to take into account that where the AC will be used. Probably I'm sending like I'm training a child on one particular form of AC, which is computer based, and child has to use it in the school. But I cannot carry that computer to the school every day. I cannot carry that. So I have to consider that, okay, for the school probably this particular form of AC may not be useful. I need to use some another form of AC. Then social economical factors. Everyone cannot afford all forms of AC. Okay, like mobile apps, there are some free, there are paid apps. Then yeah, some are better, some are not good. So we have to make selection based on the price of the thing as well. There are many ACs which are available internationally. They are really costing quite a lot. So if like I cannot just say that, oh, your child needs this AC, and without this AC he is not going to perform, he needs that. So but if the parent cannot afford it, then there is no point that we can say that, okay, this can be, you need to use this AC only. And of course, after we have gone through all these points, and then we decide, we can try, we come to one conclusion, okay, probably model A of AC can work, and then we do the trial of that AC. Okay, here is the list of different ACs available in the market currently. Okay, low tech ACs are like communication board, picture exchange, communication system, visual schedules. Here I would like to make note that picture exchange communication system, you can make this and communication boards, vision schedules on your own using the symbols. Those are available also in market. I don't know if the person has joined or not. There is one mother from Pune. She does develop picture exchange communication systems, and she can help you out. High-tech devices like Big Mac, GoTalk button, Personal Talker, Quick Talker. Some of these like GoTalk button and Personal Talker, Quick Talker, they have preloaded messages. So there are messages which are preloaded. Suppose this is my Personal Talker. So there are preloaded messages. I press that and the message comes. So probably when I want to say 10th message, I might need to press this button 10 times. Okay, then now with the technology developing, we have mobile applications both for Android and Apple, like Avaz, Jello Communicator, Prolog to Go. All of these are symbol based AACs, ChoiceWorks, Let Me Talk. Okay, all these are and there are many more AACs available. Okay, so many more mobile applications which can be used as AAC are available. These are the pictures of visual schedules. Okay, so this is example of session schedule. So I plan to do 4 activities, and I keep them ready over here in the picture form. If the child can read, I can just write those names here, and when that activity is completed, it goes in the completed box. Okay, this way, using the visual schedule, children we are giving the children a form of structure to the activity or structure to the session. Children with autism, they do really love to have a routine, and if the routines is disturbed, they really get like we might get a meltdown also. So giving them the like whenever there is change in the routine, informing them well in advance, and with the help of visual supports, they do understand that this there will be a change in my routine and what to expect next. When they know that I have to expect this next, they are more calm. Okay, this is from the site AC Coach, and sorry, I'll go back. And they have very wonderful explanation of AC. When I see that I want to make this child learn AAC, make him use AAC effectively, I have to go through so many things. Okay, unless and until I develop a positive relationship and connection with the child, how much ever prompts I will give, if there is no relationship, no rapport and connection with the child, he will not be able to use AC effectively. Then I need to model without any expectation. Okay, like how we use last week only you had a webinar with the webinar on various techniques used in speech therapy. In that also modeling was covered. Modeling is a form of I'm showing what to do. So I'm giving them the example probably. So modeling without expectation. I'm modeling use of AC, but I'm not expecting child should do the same in return. So I'm just modeling. Okay, interesting and engaging context. Okay, I cannot, probably I should not use AC when I am taking the school syllabus study. Probably that might be very boring for the child. Yes, there is communication happening, but when I am developing communication, probably that is not of his interest. If that is of child's interest, yes, definitely we can take that. But we might choose some other interesting activity, probably making a sandwich, making lemonade, or coloring. Okay, let's say color something beautiful, or let's make paper flowers. So some interesting and engaging activity if we take, let's go to the coffee shop. Okay, let's go to McDonald's. If we are targeting such interesting contexts and using AAC in those contexts, it will give us more better results. Response to any AAC use as meaningful. Okay, and we have to reinforce their small efforts to use the AAC. Okay, and we need to give feedback, we need to reinforce that, we need to provide them rewards, like, okay, yeah, you used your system quite well. And after doing all this, prompts and cues comes in place. When we start using AC, we need to understand two concepts. One is core vocabulary and fringe vocabulary. What is core vocabulary? Core vocabulary refers to high frequency words that make up about 80% of what we say. Okay, yeah, these are mostly pronouns and verbs in the core vocabulary. This is a form of core vocabulary board. I, is, can, will, want, like, we, you, he, she. All these come like on under. All these words come under core vocabulary. There are some probably 400, 500 words which are considered in core vocabulary. They do comprise 80% of what we say. These words are used repeatedly. So it is very important for the child to understand and which of this word to use, and use those words effectively in making the sentence or saying anything. Okay, uh, many times when we are using AC, or when we are teaching the kids to use AC, what we target is nouns. Okay, we are like, child wants ball, if the child clicks on the ball, touches the ball, I will give the child ball. Okay, so all these are like nouns. When, if the majority of words on my device are nouns, how can I make sentence? I'll not be able to make sentence. Again, we will remain on the same topic, that I don't have any words to comment, I don't have any words to express my emotions. Okay, uh, if it is just nouns on my device, so we need to have variety of words on the device. So that is the core vocabulary. Now, how I can teach the core vocabulary? So when I want to teach core vocabulary, I have to use aided language stimulation. What I mean by aided language stimulation is, we are showing how to use the AAC. We are communicating with the child using their own AAC device. So suppose I want my child to use Avaz or say Jello communicator, I will communicate with them using Avaz on their own device. Okay, on their own application. So they feel connected, that they see they can look at you, that you are also communicating with the same device, and how you are communicating on that, they will observe you, they'll look at you, and they will follow you. It's not going to come that okay, you are talking, caregiver is talking, mother is talking, and child is expected to press on the device and communicate. That's not fair. So if we also do the same, like what we expect the child to be doing, if we do the same activity, they will be more interested in doing the activity. Okay, so it's important that we provide them a lot of aided language stimulation. So we can choose core words based on communication function. Like we discussed communication functions earlier, instrumental, heuristic, personal, all those communication functions. So we have to choose core words based on that, based on activity we are doing. Okay, if we are going to McDonald's, our core words probably will be based on bill. My core word can be shop, wait, sit, give, go, all these words, on, in, no, all these words I can include in my core vocabulary rather than yeah, this will be in my core vocabulary. Next, I'll give the example. Core words of the week. Okay, many schools work on theme. They do have some theme for the week, and they do lot many activities based on that theme. So they can have one probably a chart, or they can include those vocabulary core words related to that week's theme in the child's device. And descriptive teaching model, like probably we are using a picture description, or we are using some other describing activity, story and all. So in that also there can be code words. Next concept is fringe vocabulary. Fringe vocabulary refers to set of low frequency words that are specific to a particular person or activity. Okay, so when I say going to McDonald's, probably McVeggie or French fries, all this can be a low frequency occurring word which are limited to McDonald's. I might not use McVeggie in when I go to garden. When I go to hospital, I don't use McVeggie. But definitely when I go to hospital, I can use the word wait. I can use the word go. Okay, so those are the most occurring words. Typically, fringe vocabulary is nouns. Fringe vocabulary make up about 20% of what we say. So, example of fringe vocabulary can be snack board. There are various snacks listed there. Okay. Now coming back to aided language stimulation. Like aided language stimulation is you as a parent are using the AAC when you are communicating with the child. Whatever you are saying to your child, you are also saying that on the device. Okay, that is aided language stimulation. When you want that your child should initiate communication using the device, first you need to show them practically. You need to do it yourself. Okay, so when you start using aided language stimulation, it will definitely shorten your sentence length. You cannot type each and every word, or each and every word you cannot type on the device. So you will definitely use keywords. So it will shorten your sentence length. It will slow down your speaking rate. And slowing down your speaking rate will definitely help your child to process the information that you want to give in a better way. Okay, it will emphasize the keywords, because you will be able to type only the keywords. You cannot type full long sentences. We talk a lot, we definitely talk a lot, but the child has to understand only the keywords. So probably you will just press the keywords. Shifts teachers or caregivers interaction from questions to comments and model. Okay, otherwise what happens when we start using the AC, we just ask them, what did you eat for your breakfast? Show me. Where is ball? Show me on your device. Okay, it becomes more of question answer. Okay, or we are testing their knowledge. Do they know this or not? Okay, that should not happen. That is not a good communication model. We are just doing question answer. Okay, if we want if you want your child should comment that, oh, mama, you had good paneer bhuji, that was very tasty. Probably you need to you need to show them how to comment. You probably need to type first paneer bhurji, yummy. then they will understand, oh, this way I also can comment. Okay, it works towards long-term goal of spontaneous novel utterance generation. So if they see you using their device, and they understand that this device can work in so many ways, they will also start using it in the same format. Now, how you can incorporate AAC in your day-to-day activities? Okay, there are many AAC strategies. We will see a few of them. Talk like a kid. Okay, what do I mean by talk like a kid? Choose the topic that interests the kid. Observe language used by kids of your child's age and model that. If you talk like an adult, child might not be interested in having that conversation with you using the AAC. Okay, when you talk like a kid, it helps them developing connection with you, and they do definitely give better attention. Model with their perspective in mind. Okay, model language on the device based on learners reaction to current scenario. Okay, probably you are in the situation where someone snatched the remote from the child and they switched off their favorite cartoon, so the child is definitely angry, so you can model that on the device. I understand that you are feeling angry. Yes, it's okay to feel angry, but you can request for the remote. You can tell that daddy that please give me remote, I want to watch this program for 5 minutes. You can type 5 minutes, please, 5 minutes, some this keywords. If you type and show that, okay, this way, if you tell, then definitely daddy will give you. Okay, model in natural context. So this was an example of natural context, that probably that was the situation, TV remote was the situation, so that is a natural context. Rather than I decide to sit with the child on table chair, okay, and we'll practice that, what happens if daddy takes the remote. Okay, that way they are not able to understand and they'll not use it in particular that way. Okay, use AC in unstructured daily routine activities. The more you plan for the activity, it won't work. Okay, it needs to be unstructured activity. Yes, definitely you need to be ready little bit. Okay, you need to have those symbols, those words put on your device. So you need to have little bit planning in place, but everything cannot be very much structured. Include peers and siblings. Okay, when you include their friends, their siblings, it it makes any activity more interesting and kid friendly. Repetition with variety. What I mean by repetition with variety is, children with autism, they always struggle with generalization. If they understand, like we are demonstrating them using the word go on AAC. So when you are using the word go on the AAC, you can model them in many situations. Go to mall, go to shop, while going to the shop, going to the other room. Okay, if like I can just act as if I'm troubling my child, I'm tickling, so if whenever he says go away, I will stop doing that. Okay, so they need to understand that this word, this go, can be used in variety of ways, in variety of different settings. Okay, so that helps them to generalize generalization of learned skill. They will understand to use that word in different ways. Okay, so while using AAC, uh, and last week also Shubhra had explained what are prompts and how we give them the prompt. We first give them the maximum prompt and slowly we fade the prompt. We start reducing the amount of prompt we give. But while using the AAC, we have to do exact opposite. We have to give first the less amount of prompt, and then we have to go to the more prompt. So first, whenever there is a communication opportunity we have presented with the presented to the child, first thing what we need to give is we need to wait. We need to give them around 15 to 30 seconds to think, to process, to formulate what they want to say. We need to give them this time. Okay, we can encourage their facial expression. Okay, we can use our facial expression, like we can ask, you want to say something? Okay, but we need to wait. We like don't jump in and don't say or start typing on the device something on behalf of your child. You need to give them time. Don't say like, okay, type this, do this. Don't use anything. Okay, we first is we need to give them the wait time. Okay, then we can give them indirect verbal prompt. Okay, we can ask them, maybe you have something to say, you wanted to say something, I'm listening. Okay, then we can gesture or use direct verbal prompt. Okay, probably we can indicate towards the device of, do you want to point to the device, or do you want to tell me using Avaz, or do you want me probably you can take help of your device to make me understand what you want to say. Okay, so many times parents also come with the question that my child communicates whenever I ask him to use the device. He knows how to use the device, how to request using the device, but he doesn't bring his device on his own. Okay, I will need to tell him that, okay, bring the device, open your device, switch on Avaz, or switch on the app, and then he will do it. Okay, so here's something we are doing wrong. Probably we have trained them to use maximum number of prompts. They were prompt dependent, they are dependent on our prompts. Okay, so they become what has become that if we provide them more number of prompts, they will behave as a respondent. They are responding to our prompt, they are responding, they are not initiating communication. So when we want them to initiate communication, we first have to provide less amount of prompt, and then even if then we don't get the response, increase the amount of prompting. Okay, and the last prompt can be model. We show them how to do it. Okay, give 2 to 3 options that may meet the need. Imitation is not required. When I'm modeling, I don't expect that child should imitate it immediately. Okay, so now we have decided, okay, I want to use this XYZ communication system, I want to use this AC, I have vocabulary ready on the device. Now I have planned the situation, I will use the AC this time, but how to do it? So let's start. Okay, first rule of using the AC is device needs to be always accessible. You cannot keep your device locked in the cupboard, locked in the drawer where the child cannot see it and expect that child will initiate communication using the device. If you want child to initiate communication, that he needs to know where is his device, that needs to be accessible to him. It needs to be probably always kept on the table where he can see it easily, on the wherever you feel comfortable. Okay, but it needs to be in his visual field, that he should know that, okay, this is there, and whenever I need to communicate, I need to get my device and start communicating. Okay, we can model the keywords. When I say model keywords, my child might not be at the level that he will understand my use of AC, how I'm using the AC. So first, if I want the child to use single words on the AC, if he needs water, if I feel that he should say give, I can probably only use those keywords, give water. I can model only those keywords. Okay, then I will model next step, I will model phrases and sentences. Okay, we should always model at one level higher than what we expect from the child to do. Okay, if I expect my child to use phrase give water, I will model mama give water. I will probably model a sentence, and then I will expect the child to repeat at least a phrase. Address various communication functions via modeling. Okay, don't only model requesting. Okay, you have to model commenting. Oh, pasta was yummy. You have to model emotions also, that oh, I'm no, mama is upset, or mama is tired, I'm tired, you look tired. So you need to address those emotions also via modeling it. The more you model, more communication functions you will address via modeling, more the child will use the same using the AC. Okay, errorless learning. When I'm saying errorless learning, I mean open-ended questions. Okay, where child cannot go wrong. Okay, if I ask what color is apple, child has only one answer to give. Okay, child has to say only, child can only answer red. But when I ask him which fruit do you want to eat, so he can choose from variety of fruits. Okay, he can say orange, he can say mango, anything he can say. So there is no one particular answer to that question. We have to put forth such questions so that child doesn't feel that, oh, I made a mistake or I was wrong. Okay, and we are not here testing, we are not testing their knowledge. Does he know that apple is red? We are not doing that when we are using AC. We are teaching them to communicate. We are not checking their knowledge at all. Okay, that is like probably that we have to look at separately. Okay, when also we have to offer them the choices, and always this is very important. When you are offering the choices, always end the list with something else. Okay, like probably what do you want to eat. Okay, I ask the child what do you want to eat, and I give him the option, and there are options available: masala dosa, pav bhaji, say roti sabji, dal rice. My last option can be something else. I may not I might not be interested in eating any of the four items mentioned above. I want to eat something else. So child should have that option to say, no, I don't want this, I want something else. So that option also needs to be there. So whenever you are formulating your AAC, you need to keep in mind that you provide not available, something else, not this, all these options as well. Okay, uh, the major struggle we all face is developing spontaneous communication. Okay, my child is communicating, but only communicates whenever there is need, otherwise he don't communicate. So that is let's see how we can help developing spontaneous communication. Put things in clear containers. Whatever interest him, we should put them in clear containers so that he can see, but he needs to request for it. Whenever he will request for it, we are giving the him opportunity to communicate. So yeah, that gives us one opportunity to communicate. Put prefer activities up out of the reach on the shelf. When probably child likes ball, okay, I will not keep ball on the floor, I will keep it on the shelf up where child cannot reach. When the child is unable to reach to his favorite toy, he will definitely call me and show. Okay, so here I get the opportunity. I can model on the device, give ball. Okay, that way child also understands. Okay, if I need a ball, I can do that. Instead of giving all of something, give just one or a few at a time. When I'm giving, like child wants water, child he showed you on the device, give water. Okay, but you want to give him more communication opportunities. So instead of giving him full glass of water, you can give it in a small portion, and after giving it in small portion, you get more opportunities. He will ask for the water 2 to 3 times. So you are uh, giving him more practice of using his communication skill which he has developed. Give your child easy access or part of something. Okay, probably he likes to play with the puzzle, so you give him the puzzle to play, but don't give all the parts. So what happens, he will need to ask you, where is the next piece? So that is also one form of communication which he will initiate, and that probably we have not taught him. That might be novel utterance. Okay, and what works wonderful is block access. uh, a child loves to play with the car. So child is riding the car like this, moving his car on the road, on the floor. Okay, so you put something like with some other device, you block the access, and unless and until child says move, you don't let the car move forward. So that is example of block access. Okay, so these are some tips. Use it yourself. Model. Unless and until you use device to communicate with your child, child will not be using the device to communicate with you. If we want them to initiate, if we want them to develop initiation of communication using device, first we need to initiate that. If I model that I am I'm starting the conversation using the device, then only child is going to do. So modeling here is very important. Show them what all AAC can do. Okay, that is up to you, what all you can show. That you can express your emotion, you can comment, you can say no, you can say yes. There are so many ample number of opportunities for customization of AAC and using it in different situations. So you need to show them that what all they can do with AAC. Reinforce even smallest attempt, even if they just for water, even if they just say give, then also it's a victory for us. We need to reinforce that. Try to develop rapport and connection. Unless and until we develop rapport and connection, n number of prompts we give, we will not be developing good communication skills. And we need to have the belief that it is going to work. Okay, if we don't believe that it will work, it's not going to work. Okay, patience is the key. We will also learn with the child, you will also learn with the child. Okay, it is not a some easy rocket science that okay, ABC, it is going to function this way. Whenever we are going to work, child will learn, we will also learn with the child. And we need to be patient, we need to give the child time. Give yourself time, and you can decode how to use the AC more effectively. Okay, while using the AAC, follow child's lead and interest. Okay, kids learn to communicate on their own agenda than on someone else. Like they will not communicate for like what you want them to communicate, but they will communicate if they need something, if that thing interests them, if it is of their interest. They will communicate more during when they are having some sensory play. So we have to follow your child's lead and interest when we are targeting any form of communication, be it verbal, be it non-verbal, using AC or without AC. This holds true for any form of communication. Okay, establish real context. AC is conversation about an activity, it is not an activity. Okay, with AC we are conversing about something. Probably we are conversing, we took example of going to McDonald's. We are conversing about our visit to the McDonald's. Okay, okay, that using AC in McDonald's is not an activity that we are not targeting. Okay, it is a conversation about activity that we need to keep in mind. Give them time. This is very important. Give time to process what is said, formulate response. They need time to understand what you said. They need time to formulate their response. Okay, how I can say, how I can make my sentence using the device. Okay, they need time to navigate their device. Okay, probably first they have to go to one subfolder, come out of that subfolder, then choose another word. Okay, navigation of AC will take time. Okay, organizing their thoughts will take time, and their body also needs time to access the AC. So very important, give them time, don't rush, don't be in hurry. Okay, and what you are not supposed to do, predict what the user has to say. Can you read minds? We cannot read minds. Okay, many times we assume that child wants to say this. When I ask the child what do you want to eat, you know that masala dosa is his favorite. So when I'll give him the option of masala dosa, he's going to say masala dosa only. Okay, it's not 100% correct. Okay, yeah, there are 50% 70% chances that he will say masala dosa, but probably that day he is not in the mood to eat masala dosa, he wants to eat Chinese. Okay, we don't know, we cannot be 100% sure. Okay, so don't predict and prompt, okay, say masala dosa, touch here. You should not do that. Okay, though you know that that is his favorite item, but he might not be in the mood to eat that. Okay, we cannot be 100% right in predicting what is there in their mind. Okay, so we have to be very careful when we are prompting something. Okay, when I am giving prompt, okay, I'm holding child's hand and touching on the masala dosa might not be right. He doesn't want to eat, and I'm using a very wrong prompt in there. Okay, prompt specific language. Don't prompt specific language. Navigate message for user. Okay, okay. Don't open subfolders for him. Okay, look here, go up and down. Don't do those things for him, the child. Let the child learn it by themselves. Okay, and you can model them how you are. They need to see how you are navigating. Okay, when you're saying I want banana, how you frame that sentence. First I went to I, then I use the verb want, and for banana then I went to the subfolder of fruits, then I move my screen up and then I chose the banana, and then I could say the sentence I want banana. So they need to see how you are navigating the system, and then they'll learn. Okay, don't make it feel like a work. Okay, like no, you have to say using this only, unless and until you are not going to get banana. Make a sentence, otherwise I'm not going to give you. You cannot make them feel like okay, this is their work, and if they don't do, they are not going to get it. Then definitely we are not targeting a good and we won't be developing a good communicator. Okay, a brief about PEX. There have been some queries about. Okay, the picture it's very brief. I'll cover it in very short time. We are already ahead of time. Picture action communication system is a form of augmentative and alternative communication in which a child is taught to communicate with an adult by giving them a card with the picture on it. So it's basically there are pictures on the card, and child exchange that picture with the adult, and whatever is there on the picture, the adult gives it to the child. So PEX has 6 phases, and they target various aspects of communication in each phase, like uh, then communicate even at a distance, like I will travel with the card to the adult and give a card and get my desired thing. Picture description, then I have to choose out of 3 pictures that okay, I need only this. Uh, I don't want water. I need biscuit right now. So from 2 pictures, I have to choose whatever is my preferred item. I will choose that and give that card to adult. Then phase 4 aims at a sentence structure. This is the sentence strip where the child is making, I want green uh, dinosaur. Okay, something like that about a toy. Okay, answering question. In phase 5 they will learn how to answer certain questions using the PEX, and phase 6 it majorly covers the commenting function of the communication. Okay, so now if you have to make your own PEG book at home, you can definitely do that. You can make a communication board. When making a communication board, you will have to keep certain things in mind, that you have to choose the symbols correctly, whatever the symbols, whichever symbols appeals your child. You have to think of what is of their current communication need, what is their what you need to put on the child, which words you want to target, and we need to give them the options of yes, no. We can give them we can have alphabet board there. If they can spell, so they can make n number of words using the spellings. Okay, so while choosing the symbols also, we need to keep certain things in mind, that amount of vision the child has, amount of hearing, how they can perceive the image, can they understand line drawings, can they understand black and white pictures, what are the individual preferences. It should be age appropriate. I cannot give a very childish picture to an adult, a 21-year-old boy, even though he is non-verbal, but I cannot give such pictures. He might feel that uh, I'm not a kid. Why you're treating me as a kid? I don't want to communicate using this because it is so childish. Okay, cultural or ethnic influences, motor abilities. Okay, so some symbols which are very small in size, and the child doesn't have that much good fine motor skills or gross motor skills, I need to see that oh, my symbols need to be big. Okay, cognition, perception, processing. Okay, these are some links to the symbols. Okay, open symbols, bliss symbols are some pictorial symbol. They are pictographic. Okay. Go Board Maker. Board Maker is a software which has a lot many symbols in it. You need to take the subscription for that. Open symbols and some free accessible symbols, and Picto Selector also gives you some free access to certain symbols. Okay, so this is example of the communication board. Okay, so suppose I can make many sentences using this, like I make short, and then these are majorly, I think so, core words. And then if there are fringe words, I want short pencil. Okay, so that way I can make many words. Okay, and this type of board can be made on a book, or I can cut some pictures out of these and put them on my pegs. These are the pegs pages, which can pegs generally comes as a binder also. You can start with 1 2 symbols, grow, then you target increasing your child's vocabulary, then you need more space and you need to organize them. So these pages are color coded. Probably one page is for snack items, one page is related to school supplies, one page can be related with his playthings. So whenever the child has to say something, it's easy for the child to navigate. Okay, if I want to communicate something in the class, probably I will open my blue page and I will find it there. When I want to play something, I have to open my yellow page and I will get that thing over there, right? Okay, and here also you can see that these are color coded. Okay, so all these are subjects. Okay, subjects are coded yellow. I, you, my, teacher, all these are subjects in the sentence. Verbs are generally in the green. Okay, uh, and this are coded, adjectives are coded in blue. This extra information is coded in this color, and questions are generally in the pink. Okay. Okay, with this I end my presentation. Thank you. And if you have any question at any time, you can get in touch with me. Okay, this is my number, and you can write an email to me as well. Okay, so Kalani, I'm done.
Thanks, Prerna.
We can
Thanks for the wonderful presentation.
we
I
can take
think
some questions. I'll just have a sip of water.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I think you explained a lot of important terms like aided language stimulation and spontaneous novel utterances, and you gave a lot of examples too. So thanks for that. I think some parents have already put in a few questions in the chat. You covered
Okay,
this
I'll
already, but
stop share. I'll stop share. Yeah.
yeah, sure. You can stop sharing. So
Okay.
you
Yeah.
already covered this, but they want to know if AAC is useful for apraxia, ASD. So if you can answer that briefly.
Okay. Okay. For a person with Broca's aphasia along with MIT, can I use AAC? Whether it's supposed to develop his verbal output or not? Yes, definitely. You can use AAC with Broca's aphasia. Also, MIT works wonderful, but it does have its limitation as well. With AAC, you can give them more auditory stimulation. How much will you talk? Okay, but you can press the button n number of times, and that many times the person can get auditory stimulation. Along with MIT and traditional therapy, when you are using AAC, it definitely improves the communication. And when we are using AAC, we are definitely not saying that we are not targeting speech. We are working on speech the same way. And whenever we are saying something on the AAC, we are talking also. Okay, I am saying that like device is also going to generate the speech, but even I am going to generate that speech from my mouth. So the person gets dual model. They can understand it using the device also, and they can understand using how I am saying it also. Okay, so and this is easy. Okay, when I want a child to communicate something which is complex for them to plan so much, even for the person with Broca's aphasia or apraxia, planning, having that much motor planning and saying it correctly, pronouncing it all correctly is a overload. Okay, because of that overload also they don't communicate. But this communicating using AAC, it takes away that load. It becomes easier for them to communicate, and once they are very comfortable communicating, definitely speech will follow through. It's not that they have a very huge block while communicating. Speech can definitely follow through, though we cannot be very 100% sure, but yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
so
next
the
question.
question is how to use ASE for behavior modification.
Okay, how can we use AC for behavior modification if the child is pulling hair of others? How can I use AC for this? Okay, for this, I can definitely model probably no pulling the hair. Okay, or I can use visual schedules rather than any other thing. Visual schedules will work wonderful for this, and some cards having the, like, you can have the card printed of hair pulling, or you can use a real photograph also and just mark a red cross over it, and you can show this card multiple times. Okay, no pulling hair. So that also works very well.
The next question is
Next
about
one.
identification of feelings. My son knows identification of feelings, how to use on daily situations.
My okay, I did not get the question. My son knows identification of feelings, how to use on daily situation. Okay, so I assume that your son can identify and understand that he's feeling sad, he's feeling happy, he's feeling elated, or he's just upset. Okay, you also model those feelings on the device. Okay, that is what aided language stimulation is. When you model those things, he will also understand how he can use the device. Now he knows what he feels. Now what we want to target is using the device for the expression. So he doesn't know how he can use the device. Can this device work for expressing my feelings? You need to show him that yes, it can work. So if you model that, yeah, I understand you are feeling upset. He will also next time probably use the same method to communicate.
The next question is what is the appropriate age to start ASE?
Okay, appropriate age to start AC, when I generally see younger kids with ASD and they have not yet started communicating, I definitely, rather than going with a tech-based device, I start low-tech AAC. I generally start with PECs. Okay, it is not necessary that every child will require PECs, but PECs definitely accelerates the development. We generally see very good results with PECs also, that they start using language much more. Spontaneity in the communication happens. They start requesting. So at least once they know how to use words and uh, when to use that, and I can communicate, you can fade the AC. Okay, so there is no at such appropriate age, I would say that you have to wait till 8 years, and then suppose your child is not developing speech, then you go for AC. It's nothing like that. You can start using AC at an early age also, and then once you feel that speech is coming up, you can use AC to teach new things. And when the child masters that new thing, that can be used only in the speech, and again you try to increase the complexity of language using AC, which is easy for them to say. Okay, because it unloads their mind. Like motor planning, all those issues are very much less when they are using AAC.
What is the full form of ASC, ma'am?
Augmentative and alternative communication.
Okay, okay. Is it device based, ma'am?
It can be device based. Okay, I'll again share the screen. Okay. See, AAC is augmentative and alternative communication. Okay, and it is used to supplement or replace speech whenever there is communication breakdown. Okay, whenever person cannot communicate using verbal language, be it spoken or written. Okay, and there are unaided AAC. Unaided AAC means I don't require anything to use that AC. It can be unaided ACs can be facial expression, sign system, sign language, my body language. I'm just saying no, and person understand. Okay, this is no. And aided ACs can be low tech and high tech. When it is high tech, that is generally speech generating devices or some apps, and low tech can be communication boards and PECs, which we saw in the end.
Okay.
I think with this we can wrap this session, Prerna.
Yeah.
Is there only one last question if you can take? I think somebody
sure.
has typed in. My son is verbal adult in the autism spectrum. He's able to express his needs, wants. He types well quickly, but he's not willing to use Avas, as when he starts typing, the letters move and pics come. He questions repeatedly on how do I use Avas to reduce his repeated questions. So,
okay, what does he question repeatedly? That is very unclear to me. I'm not understanding that. Okay, he starts typing the letters. Okay, as when he starts typing, letters move and pics come. Okay, see, as Avaz, I think so. Avaz has pictures, and under it this words are also written. So and in the setting you can select only pictures or only words, or pictures with the words. That option you can select. Try doing that.
yeah, like Prerna said, you can change the settings in Avas to include only captions, only images, or both captions and images. Even in the keyboard, you have all of those options. You can disable prediction, you can enable prediction. So you have different settings. I think if you write a mail to support@avas.com, we can probably share you videos and other articles on how to change those settings.
So probably he is getting distracted with the, like, when I'm typing, my picture is coming.
Yeah,
so
we can
you can
disable the
you can
pictures.
disable those options. You can disable.
So with this, I think you can wrap this session, Prerna. Thanks for the wonderful session, and thanks for answering all those questions in great detail. Thanks for taking the time out for presenting this webinar.
Thank you again. Yeah. Thank you again for giving me this opportunity to get connected with so many parents. Yeah.
And thanks to all the attendees for joining us today and asking questions. Hope you found this useful. We will be sending the recorded webinar to everyone. So you can just watch this when you find time and have the comfort.